Three, two, one.
Don't let your county tax assessor catch you slipping, because you will be tripping. Imagine you living in your house, making your mortgage payment, and there's this shark called the county tax assessor circling your house, waiting at any time to reassess your property, to bring up your property taxes. It's already hard enough that you got to make your mortgage payment with principal, interest, hazard insurance, and now an increase in property taxes. What? What's going on, guys? My name is Min Win with What's a Mortgage. Welcome to our channel. The goal of our channel is to simplify home ownership. If it's your first time tuning into our channel, do me a huge favor. Hit the subscribe or notification button so you're notified every time we go live or post new content. We go live every Monday night on Facebook and YouTube, Tuesday on Instagram, and we post content daily on Instagram and our TikTok pages. If you need more help, regarding home ownership or how to qualify, to see some numbers, definitely follow us on our other platforms. Also, guys, this is an interactive channel, so ask a lot of questions. If you have mortgage questions, we have mortgage answers. And tonight, guys, we are going to go over property tax reassessment. If you're thinking about owning a home or you already own a home, this video is for you. Definitely the last thing you want to happen as you are on your way to paying off your home is see the rise in your property taxes. I see it's happening more now than ever because so many people are making changes. And tonight we want to go over those changes so you don't get caught slipping and then you start tripping. So tonight, property tax reassessment. Property Tax 101. If you want to see the rest of our series on property taxes, go to youtube.com/what's a mortgage and watch our other property tax video. We have videos on everything you need to know about property tax, supplemental taxes, okay? So definitely check out our other videos. So let's get into it. First, what is property tax reassessment? This is when a property value gets reassessed even though it's already has been in the past. So you bought a home and they already assessed your property, but they get reassessed for some reason. The point of the reassessment is to obtain the most up-to-date value. So if you bought a home, don't get too excited and don't walk around proud. I bought a home for $300,000 and now it's worth $700,000. You want to keep that to yourself, okay? The last thing you want is to announce to the world that your home is worth more. But even if it's worth more, doesn't mean they can come out and reassess and change the value of your property and increase your taxes, okay? That's the most important thing you got to know. Even though your home is worth more, doesn't mean they can come out and reassess your property. What does it mean by that? So let's say your home, you bought it for 300 grand. Let's say your tax rate is 1%. That means every year you pay $3,000 in taxes. But let's say now, your home gains all this value and it's worth $600,000 and the tax rate is 1%. So you're going to pay $6,000 a year now instead of the $3,000. You see what I'm saying? So every year as home goes up in value, they can't go out and reassess it unless there's a reason. If you're in the state of California, there is a rule where they can only reassess your property 2% a year because of Prop 13. In the 70s, it was like, heck no, we can't do this. If properties were reassessed at new values every year, monthly payments would be too high. So in California, each state is different. They can only reassess the property 2% a year. They can't go off the new value, just increase only by 2% a year. But there are ways the county tax assessor looks to reassess your property. So they're waiting for that crack. Don't open up that crack because they will slide themselves in. And here are the two reasons why property taxes get reassessed, okay? In California. Other states, it might be a little different, but most states, they kind of follow the same guideline. Of course, the first reason why they would come out to reassess your property is change or transfer of title. Of course, if you buy a home or you sell a home, whoever's taking over the property, that's a transfer of title. Number two, if you add any upgrades to your property that requires permits, any upgrades that require permits, and a lot of people are doing upgrades right now. If you add or take off co-signers, they will reassess your property except for a spouse. If you add or take family members off, they will reassess your property. Okay, so remember that. So transfer, change of title, pretty self-explanatory. If you own a home and you sell it, the new person who takes over the home, the property will be reassessed at that new purchase price. But if you lived in your home for a period of time, let's say 5 or 6 years, and you transfer title, if you just take someone off, you're okay. But if you remove somebody to add somebody on and they are not your spouse, your child, the property will be reassessed. Let's say you had someone help you co-sign and you remove them, but you don't add anyone else, you're safe. But if you add someone new to title for some reason that is not your child or your spouse, the county tax assessor, the sharp will just come out and reassess your property, okay? They will go with the new value. Let's say you bought a home and 10 years later or 20 years later, you decide to add someone to title. They will reassess it with the new value 10 years later. This happens a lot when people buy a home with, and then they put it in an LLC. So if you put it in an LLC or a trust, and there's someone else's name on that trust or LLC that wasn't on the original title, they will reassess the property. Let's say you have a trust, and in that trust, the beneficiary belongs to someone who wasn't on the original title. There is a chance. That's every state is different. But on an LLC, for sure. Let's say you bought a home, you put in your LLC, you're on the LLC, but you have a business partner that wasn't on the original deed. Guess what? The property will be reassessed. So be very careful changing title back and forth. The reason why I know, my dad added my brother, who is his son, but we didn't do the correct paperwork, and they reassessed the property. And when they reassessed it, they bought their home for $191,000. It got assessed at, I think, $500, $550 when we added my brother to title, okay? Because we took our sweet time, you have within 2 years to do it, and we lollygagged, and when we got near the tail end, guess what the county tax assessor did? They kept stretching out the timeline or stretching out the paperwork, right? Adding more things. And by the time the 2 years was up, it was too late. Even though we had all the documents and we were working with the county tax assessor and they knew what we were trying to do, we weren't able to fix it. The reason why, because it was past the 2 years. So it's very careful. If you're going to add a spouse or child, you do it correctly. We'll show you in a second where to find all the paperwork, okay? So that's one way they reassess your property. The second way, which is happening across the United States right now, if you add any upgrades that require permits. Of course, people are staying in their homes longer, okay? And they start doing things to their home, like renovations. They add square footage. They add a pool. They add a bedroom. Anything that requires permits, the county will come out and reassess it. I see it happening a lot right now because people aren't moving out of their house. So they're trying to make their home a lot more comfortable. So what they're doing is they're doing renovations. Of course, if anything that doesn't require renovations, they're not going to do anything to your house. But let's say you add an ADU, right? You build an ADU and you get permits, wham, they're going to come out. And typically you need equity to renovate. So if you bought a home, unless you do a renovation loan where you can do all the renovations up front, you're going to pay a little bit higher of an interest rate, but it is cheaper than down the road doing your renovations and them increasing the county tax assessors, increasing the property taxes. Okay, so you need equity. You wait 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Oh, I have tons of equity. Or you inherit a home from your parent or grandparent, and now you want to do renovations because it was too expensive to find a house somewhere else, or you can't even find a home. So now you renovate the property. So the county tax assessor, and boom, they get you. And they reassess your property, and they raise your property taxes. So these two reasons scare the crap out of me, right? So now, before I do something or I talk to a client, I tell them this straight up. The reason why? Because who wants to find out with a letter in the mail saying their property taxes went from my parents $1,900 a month, a year, $1,900 a year to $5,500 a year, right? It's not too big of a difference, but it is a big difference depending on your income level. Okay, so those are the two reasons they will reassess your property. But let's say we're not talking about permits now. Permits, we know for a fact. How about if you change title? There are a couple tricks, okay? Let's talk about transferring property from parent to child or grandparent to grandchild, okay? So if you have a home, especially now, everything that's going on with baby boomers, right? And this is why there's a lack of inventory in the market. People aren't selling their homes. They're passing on to their child and grandchild. Because they're doing that, that's the reason why there's not enough inventory in the market, and that's why prices are so high. And imagine also if you inherited a property, would you want to sell that property to buy another property with a higher property tax rate or with a higher property tax value? You know what I mean? So definitely, guys, if you inherit a property, you want to inherit it correctly so you don't do something stupid with raising your property taxes. And also, that's the reason why people aren't selling. So transferring a property from parent to child and grandchild. So there's something called Proposition 58. Let's talk about parent to child first, okay? So Proposition 58 excludes transfers of real property between parent and to child from reassessment. So if you're a parent and you give your house to a child, the property will not get reassessed. Most of the times, you got to look at the rules, and we left the rules. We're going to have the rules up in a second. They're owner-occupied properties, not investment. Of course, if the child is moving into it, owner-occupied as well, you should be safe from reassessment. Of course, if the parent has multiple properties, there are rules you got to follow. We'll leave you the link in a second to look that up, but definitely use Proposition 58. There is a form. Left the link for the form right there. If you are going to pass a home to your child and you want to save yourself a lot of grief trying to go back to the county assessor to evaluate, hey, this is my parents' house. Relax, county tax assessor. Don't come in and right and reassess my property. If you do the form up front, you will be okay. Especially when you go out and you decide to refinance the home in your name, or you're trying to get it back from your parents somehow through a transfer of deed. There is a form. You do click the box, but sometimes people forget to click it, right? And even if you click it, something or check it, sometimes the county doesn't recognize it. That's why there's a form. You want to go to this link right here. Make sure you get this form handled so when the parent goes to child, the property taxes don't increase, okay? Now let's talk about our next form, Proposition 193. Proposition 193 excludes transfer of real estate property from grandparent to grandchild from reassessment. This is only if the parent of a grandchild who qualifies as a child of a grandparent are deceased as of the date of transfer. So if you are a grandparent, there's a link also as well. I left that link right there to fill out this form. So if your grandparent passes on a home to you and doesn't go to their child, doesn't go to your parents, but goes directly to you, your parents must pass away, okay, for you to receive the property and not have the property reassessed. If your parent is alive, it's better that they pass it to your parent and then have your parent pass it on to you, all right? People go through this mistake a lot. For some reason, as a grandparent, I understand my mom loves my son. She puts up with me and she loves my son. So a lot of grandparents, they love their grandchild. They pass on the home, but if the parent has not passed, the property will be reassessed. The parent has to pass, but if the parent hasn't passed, it has to go from grandparent to parent, then to child if you want to avoid reassessment, which happens a lot. There's other strategies you can do where you're doing it in a trust. It's a non-revocable trust where you can pass from grandparent to child, and then child has to pass it on. There's a bunch of rules you can follow for this to happen, okay? So make sure you're following the right rules, because the last thing you want to do is get excited you inherit a property that your grandparent probably bought in the 40s, 50s, or 60s that's worth $1 million, and now you're paying the property tax on $1 million and not on the original purchase price. Okay, remember in the 70s the laws did change. So I think after I forgot what year in the 70s it did change where they only can reassess it 2% a year. Okay, so they did reassess at a higher value, but you're getting it from the base in the 1970s. Okay, unless you bought in the 80s and 90s, a little bit different. Right? If you bought before the 70s, of course rules are a little bit different. Hopefully all this makes sense to you. What's the next one? I didn't see the next slide. See? Next one. Right. So Prop 58. So I want you to do this. If you have more questions regarding Prop 58 and Prop 193, go ahead and go to this link. So you have questions. You have like, well, if I am one of 4 child and I'm going to get this property, it's a third property, will I pay taxes? So if you have any questions regarding transfer of title, if you're going to get the property or not, I am not a lawyer, so I can't give you legal advice on title, but for more information, for most of the questions that you want to know are on that link right there, right? www.boe.ca.gov.prop taxes. So if you have questions regarding transfer of title, definitely go there. All right. Hopefully this information was useful. If it was, do me a huge favor. Please comment and ask questions, and save this video, share this video, and like this video. It helps out the algorithm and it helps me out a lot. And you don't want a secret to bring down interest rates and to add inventory? Follow my page, right? Hit that subscribe button and more properties will hit the market and prices will come down and rates will come down. I'm kidding. That is just a joke, but it does help though, okay? So also guys, here are my other channels you can follow me on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn. Definitely, please follow us. It does help us out a lot, all right, guys? So let's get into some Q&A. First of all, hopefully this ends our series with property taxes, and we want to end it with reassessment. If you want to see the rest of our property tax videos, definitely go to our youtube.com/what's a mortgage. We start with everything you need to know about property taxes, supplemental taxes, and this video, of course, is reassessment. All right, everything you need to do know after you become a homeowner. If you're going to become one, know these rules. You don't want surprises, right? All of a sudden you're happy-go-lucky, you got a pay raise, gas went down, and boom, property taxes went up. That's the last thing you want to happen. All right, guys, hopefully you enjoy our content. Let's go some Q&A. Good, Andy? Solid?
Yeah, solid.
Okay. Yo, I'm almost ready to buy my first home. Good, Antonio. What's going on? Luz, what's going on? Hey, Jolene, what's good? Mario, what's good? Senior, is renovating the bathroom or kitchen, does that require permits? So if you're renovating your kitchen, great question. Sina, Sonia, Chet. So Andy, have Jasmine write that question down and answer that question. I'll do that on a TikTok. That's Sina, Sonia, Chet. All right. So is renovating the bathroom or kitchen, does that require permits? So if you are just changing the floors, the tiles, that doesn't require permits. When you change if you move the tub, right? Let's say you change the tub, you do anything with plumbing, it will require permits. You move the stove around, it does require permits. If you're just changing just the way it looks, you should be fine. Hopefully that helps you out. So could you potentially buy a house and then the economy goes down years later? If you get the house reassessed during that downtime, will the assess be slightly lower? Raphael, the county's tax assessors are smart. If the values go down, they're not going to come out and reassess the property at a lower value. They're going to hold it as is. There are times they have reassessed it lower, but the chances are very low, right? But I don't see it going down anytime soon in California. Outside California, it might be different, okay? But yes, it can be reassessed for a lower amount. Have I seen it happen? I have not seen it happen in the close to 20 years of doing loans. All right, hopefully that helps you out. And I made it through the 07-08 crash, and they didn't drop the property taxes. Is Prop 193 and other ones you talked about only in California? Carlos Esparza. Yes, these are in California. Every other state operates a little differently, but I know a lot of West Coast states follow California's rules. They just call the propositions with a different number or a different name. Hopefully that helps you out. Rick Fonette, do you recommend me building a trust for my kid and having them be in the trust? If so, would this affect our kids as a first-time home buyer? Yes, you can set up a trust for your kid. Make sure it's a revocable. First of all, I'm not allowed to give legal advice. What I would do, let me get that right. I'm not giving you legal. I saw that side eye right now from Andy. I'm not giving you legal advice. What I would do is I would probably set up a revocable living trust, because in an irrevocable living trust, you can't make changes. In the revocable living trust, you can put your child in it as the beneficiaries. You can put the house in there. Legally, you can refinance if you didn't make changes to the property too, with it being the trust, but a lot of lenders want you to take it out of the trust, finish your refi, put it back in the trust, okay? If this is your first home, if you want to put in your trust, great. A lot of people, when it's their final home, they put it in the trust, okay? Hopefully that helps you out. See, the links are right there. What if my mom does work or have credit? I have fair credit, but not on the title. What's the best way to go about getting a HELOC? Should I get added to the property? So if you're currently not on the first loan, Joshua, it would be really hard to get a HELOC, right? lenders are very quirky when it comes to HELOCs and just standalone seconds. Typically, you'd have to do a cash out refinance and be on the loan with her. As long as she's currently on the loan, you want to be on the loan with her, then she can cash out refinance with you helping her qualify. But she has to be on the new loan and on title. Okay, if she's not on the new loan or title, you're just adding the title to do it, most likely you'd have to wait about 12 months. Hopefully that helps you out. Some lenders say 6, some of them might say 12. Daisy, I bought in 2021 and was reassessed. Will there be a reassessment every year moving forward, or is it just a one-time? So Daisy, when you bought your home in 2021, there is a supplemental tax that comes out. Okay, they're going to assess it based on the value. It depends on when in 2021 you bought it, but typically there is one supplemental tax. Then every year, if you are in California, they have a right to assess your property 2% a year. Doesn't mean they're going to get to it right away, but they can. But 2% a year is not that big of a deal as long as they don't go off the new value. But yes, it does get the supplemental happens once, as long as you don't do any crazy like changes where they're going to have to do a new supplemental. So if you bought it, you'll have one supplemental. After that, it's a slow increment every year. Hopefully that helps you out. What's the rate today for conventional? Conventional, Ilena on owner occupied today based on a 720 credit score, 3% down or more. Single family home, owner occupied, you're looking at interest rate of 4.5 to 4.75. It's crazy. It's getting closer to 5. What up, Jessica? What if my parents bought a home and now getting divorced? Mom will refinance and add my sister to the refinance. Will they have their property reassessed? No, it will not. It is your sister, so your sister should be fine, Cindy. If I'm buying a home and need to make renovations that requires permit, is it better to do those renovations as soon as you buy the home? Yes. If you buy the home and they're going to reassess, it might be, if you do any renovations, some crazy ones where it's going to change square footage, it's going to based on recent comps on new value. But after that, you should be fine. Don't wait 10, 20 years to do it later on, and then they reassess it at the higher value. It can be in a deeper hole, okay? My mom just died and my brother is living in there for now. Will the property increase not selling the property for now? Well, the property increases no matter, I'm sorry to hear that your mother has passed away, Jolene, but if the property will go up in value no matter if your brother living in it or not. Him living in it doesn't change property going up in value. Okay, hopefully that helps you out. Jasmine Rivera, what's up, man? So my car that I purchased 6 months ago got totaled. How long do I wait to get ready to purchase a home? I took your advice and not take out a new car and wait it out. I see you and your wife are sacrificing your due, ready to be a homeowner. So Jasmine, if you get a car, if you can find a way to get a car not in your name, remember, for every $350 a month in a car payment, that will change about $50,000 in buying power. But if you desperately need a car, it all depends on what you can do, what type of creativity you can do to go get to and from places. I would try to close escrow as soon as you can. As soon as you close escrow, if you want to get a car off that, it's easy peasy. Okay, if you get it up front, like I said, every $350 a month will slow down lower your buying power. Hopefully that helps you out. Michelle Castro, hi man, I bought a house under my son's name. Should I add my name on title or do we do a living trust? Like I said, I cannot give legal advice like that. If it's a son adding a parent, I have not seen that yet. I've seen parent to child. Definitely, if you do reach out to me, I can refer you to a title person that can probably help answer that question. Or if you're a lender, you know that answer, please respond to Michelle ASAP. If your son bought it and you add yourself to title, I think parent to child you might be okay with that. I'm not 100%. I would definitely talk to someone who would have an answer for you before you do that, before your property taxes increase. If you do a whole house remodel, after the taxes that you owe based on the reassessment value of the house, based on the amount, proven it's done. So if you do a whole renovation, remodel, it doesn't require permits, it doesn't get reassessed. If you do a remodel, they're going to go based on the new assessment, based on the new value. The value they're going to go on based on what the county assumes is the value. We have no control over that. Hopefully that helps you out. They're not going to take what you purchase at, add all your upgrades. They're going to go off of the fair market value. Okay. So they're not going to just take the balance or take what you bought it at, add the upgrades, and call that the new value. They're going to go and based on today's value. Hopefully that helps you out. What up, DL? How you doing? If my property taxes gets impounded with my mortgage payment and my property gets reassessed, will my mortgage provider automatically adjust my payment to account for the increased taxes? That's a great question, Jeff. Typically, your county will send records out, and you should get an update. Sometimes it takes a little while. You might get an increase. You might first thing that happens is you're probably going to get a supplemental tax bill, okay, if your property got reassessed. And then after that, it should be an increase in your mortgage payment. Your lender should send your your servicer should send you a letter. Hopefully that helps you out. Currently have a 747 Equifax credit. I gross $11,000 a month. What do I qualify for? Antonio, if you want to know what you qualify for, definitely send us a message at 714-790-9697, or you can email us info@whatsamortgage.com, right? If you want to know and what you qualify for, if you want to run the numbers and see details, definitely reach out to us. Oh wait, Andy, I forgot to do an outro on the video.
Do
All right.
On the end of the Q&A.
Okay, cool. What up, Ivlat? Hi, sorry, just got on right now. My parents bought a home 1994 and refied their home last year and added me on title. Will the taxes go up, and do I need to call the county tax assessor to let them know I'm their son? Yes, Ivlat. If it's in California, I would definitely do it. This happened to my brother and I. Let them know. So when you filled out the grant deed, I think there's something that says on there that you are the child, or you are you are their child or not. Definitely contact the county tax assessor, find out what's up, get that fixed ASAP. They might have updated in title when you added them, but you want to make sure it didn't happen to my brother, and boom, we got stuck with the higher property taxes that we're still paying on today. All right, hopefully that helps you out. We gave rates today. What are rates? I didn't see your story. So, Boaderm. So we put it in our IG Reels now and in our TikTok. Today's rates. Let me give it to you really quick since you did ask and you did what's it called? You did ask. So here it is. So, today's mortgage interest rates: conventional loans, 720 credit score or better, 3% down or more, single family home owner occupied. On the West Coast, no points. You're looking at an interest rate of 4.5 to 4.75. Government loans, FHA, VA, USDA, 660 credit score or better. You're looking at an interest rate of 3.875 to 4.25 today. That's where rates are at. If you have more questions or you want to run the numbers, give us a call, 714-790-9697. Also, you can email us, info@whatsamortgage.com. You didn't put our little thing up.
I try to do it when I know you're going to do it.
All right, info@whatsamortgage.com. All right. Also, out there, if you have a loan estimate and times are getting tough, an extra $2,000 matter. I would suggest you shop for the best deal you can out there, right? Imagine $2,000. $2,000 can get you a new washer or dryer. $2,000 can get you an amazing TV. $2,000 will help pay your supplemental tax bill once you get it, and you will get it once you buy a house. So shopping for a better deal can save you about $2,000 or more, or a couple $100 a month that can go towards your supplemental tax bill that you will have coming up. All right, guys, hopefully you found our information useful. Like I said, do me a huge favor. If I brought you value, save this video, share this video, and like it. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of the night. We want to end all our episodes with: our attitude is gratitude. Without you, there would be no us. So thank you so much. And Sadak, yes, we do serve San Fernando Valley. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of the night. And